Did Backrooms deliver endless nightmares beyond human comprehension? Well, let's talk a little bit about it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I want to be a fighter, like you.
Oh, let it burn! Let it burn!
Did you miss me?
You have to shoot them in the head. They always come back.
The boat can leave now. Tell the crew.
But sometimes that is better.
Good luck.
Hey everybody, I'm Killjoy Jake. Today we're going to be doing a review of the Backrooms, which will mostly be spoiler-free up until the ending. No worries, I will give you a warning before we get into that. Before we get into all this though, please make sure to like this video and subscribe for more reviews just like this one. We're going to be covering all kinds of horror movies throughout the rest of time. I'm an immortal being who is forced to watch horror movies until the sun explodes. So stick around, you
Puny mortals.
Anyways, let's go through this portal in the basement of a furniture store into the Backrooms. Clark, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, owns a dwindling furniture store that's struggling to get customers or pay the bills. Although his therapist, Mary, played by Renate Ransve, tries to help Clark with his depression, he's yet to make a breakthrough. One night he discovers a portal in the basement of his store that leads into a seemingly infinite dimension of yellow wallpaper, buzzing lights, and random objects. Obsessed, Clark bows to his curiosity and begins mapping out the place when he discovers something terrifying. What else lurks in the dark corners of the Backrooms? 19-year-old Kane Parsons directed the flick based on the found footage web series of the same name. Kane is also credited with composing the score alongside Ido von Bremen, and seemingly has a cameo in the flick as one of the async hazmat suit dudes. This is a crazy first impression from a filmmaker that young yet so talented. I was really worried with Backrooms having a built-in fan base of internet savvy folks that this whole movie would turn into one big Easter egg hunt where you're just pointing at the screen the whole time being like, oh, look at that, I recognize that, that's from the series. Thankfully, this movie has so much more on the docket than just that. Sure, there are all kinds of references to the various Backrooms environments, including a sequence where one character is chased through a pool level and a tropical themed room, but that's merely icing on the cake. Backrooms has a deep underlying message, but never forgets to keep you engaged with the ongoing mystery throughout. What is this place and why is Clark drawn to it? This movie's got a lot of exciting answers in those regards. The film is gorgeous, purposefully shooting each location in a way that makes the outside feel daunting and big and the liminal space feels suffocating, despite the fact that it goes on forever. It kind of puts you in Clark's shoes that way, to say that the outside world is maybe more terrifying for this character than anything going on in the Backrooms. The performances are amazing across the board here, but the direction is just so focused and on point. And again, you know, I had total faith in Kane Parsons. His web series totally kicks ass, but to see him make this jump from, you know, doing videos on YouTube that are really good to making a feature film that's also fucking awesome, it's so impressive to me. This kid is very clearly a virtuoso, and I cannot wait to see what he does next. Without spoiling anything, my absolute favorite part of the entire film, though, is this little middle section where we get to follow Clark and some of his employees use a camera to kind of investigate the Backrooms. And because I'm such a found footage junkie, of course this was my favorite part. Far and away, this is the scariest sequence of the entire film. It is just such an incredibly well done chase sequence. There is some brutal shit going on here that I don't want to spoil, but man, my mind was blown. Easily one of my favorite found footage sequences in recent memory. With all of that being said though, it's the third act that left me the most unsettled. No spoilers yet, but Act 3 features some answers as to what this place is. And while it's not the toughest thing to guess, it's what this film does with that element that makes it so fascinating. There's this opposition happening between our main two characters, Mary and Clark. Clark would do anything to go back to the way his life was before his divorce, but Mary, on the other hand, is still overcoming some childhood trauma. The opposing backstories of these two characters, I think, is what fuels everything going on as to why Clark is so drawn to the Backrooms and why Mary's character is so terrified of it. It's nostalgic yet horrifyingly beautiful in a way that I am just enamored to, man. Oh my god, this movie was cool as hell. One last thing before we get into spoilers is that I loved seeing Mark Duplass play somebody that wasn't Peach Fuzz from the Creep series. That's the one big thing from his catalog that I'm familiar with. I know that he's been in various TV shows and like indie dramas where I'm sure he's playing characters that feel more like his Backrooms character, but I know him as the guy who is going absolutely crazy and killing people on camera. Yeah.
The last guy in the world you think would be a serial killer, right?
It's cool to see him play a much more reserved and grounded character in a sort of found footage movie, unlike the Creep series. Shows off some versatility for the guy. I fucking love Mark Duplass, man. Everybody kills it in this movie. If you like nothing else, the performances are top notch. Mark's character is sprinkled throughout the entire plot, but it's this ending sequence that really puts a pin in this whole thing for me. Okay, we're about to get into spoilers for the ending of this flick, so if you haven't seen it yet, go check out Backrooms and then come on back. I have seen a variety of posts and comments from audience members who didn't necessarily get the ending, or were disappointed that that final battle with the creature wasn't something more explosive. The terror of this finale is how far the obsession with the Backrooms truly goes. It's a place that recreates everything and everyone that ever was, with an 80% accuracy rate. My interpretation of that ending, or just the film entirely, is a reflection of how obsessed we all are with nostalgia these days. Sometimes it feels like folks would rather pretend to be in the past rather than pave the way for a better future here in the present. Clark falls victim to that here, and although he makes it a little too obvious that he's unwilling to change, literally saying that at one point in the film, Mary is trying to help him get to that point this entire time. The ending, focused on the async company, shows a more successful man who shares Clark's same obsession. We don't even learn that much about Phil outside of what his job is and a brief glimpse at his family life, but we don't really need to surmise the fact that he's very similar to Clark in the sense that he has this obsession with this place. He specifically says too that his company used to make MRI machines before they started studying the backrooms, and MRI machines just create a graph of a human being that's been placed inside of it, basically. Of course, somebody like Phil would be obsessed with the backrooms. Mary is sadly the only character in this entire flick who understands that they should just leave this place alone. Despite the backrooms seemingly going on forever, the place is a dead end. All it can do is vaguely remember the past while never actually creating anything new. In general, I think the backrooms is one big allegory for the dangers of living in the past. Now, outside of the metaphorical stuff, there are some visuals in this movie that are going to live rent-free up here for the longest time. So did this movie deliver on endless terrors in liminal space, like the title of this video says? Absolutely yes. I do not want to go to the backrooms ever. I am good on that. The copies of real people in the backrooms are terrifying. It kind of reminds me of Jordan Peele's Us a little bit, but maybe done a little better. Not only are the features of these like copies of human beings so off and so hard to look at for having multiple eyes, too many teeth, mouths in the wrong places or whatever, but I also love the fact that Clark's copy specifically, that is dressed up like the pirate from his store, is played by Robert Bobrovsky. The up-and-coming creature performer can also be seen in Alien Romulus as the human xenomorph offspring. The Cronenberg and Lynchian inspiration is very heavy with this one, and I love it. Between the nasty creature designs, the dread of liminal space, and a ton of substance underneath the surface here, I adore the backrooms. I really hope Kane is able to do more with this concept, as this film feels like it's kind of just like setting this whole universe up for more. Kane has described this film as a continuation to the web series, but like if you just came to this like not knowing anything else, this is a great entry point to all of this lore. It definitely left more to be desired, however, and with this movie already making crazy box office numbers, I am 100% sure we will be getting a sequel, if not sequels. Just like the backrooms themselves, there's no doubt in my mind that this franchise will surely be endless. Personally, I give the backrooms a 9 out of 10. This is a really strong start to Kane Parsons' career. I cannot wait to see what this dude does next. Wow, May has been such an incredible month for horror, maybe the best month I have ever covered here on YouTube. It honestly makes me a little sad that this month is already over. We've easily had some of the best releases of the entire year, between Hokum, Obsession, and now this. Here's where I would personally rank Backrooms against the other 2026 horror films I've seen this year. What are your guys' thoughts on Backrooms? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this review, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.